Hey everyone, we're back. First Beat the Bookie of the semester. Skyler Wilkes, happy to have you with us. First show of the Adam Hipsky regime, and it's an honor to be here talking about my favorite thing really in the world. That's NFL football. How many times do you hear NFL football talked about here at CitrusTV? The AFC and NFC championships are this weekend, and I am beyond excited to talk about it. But before we get there, we got to talk about what went down in the fall. Decent performances overall. I know Austin Barrick helped out, but definitely me as well. You know, I won, what, $125? That's pretty good. Hopefully, we can win some more, so let's get started. It's time for Beat the Bookie.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
What do you know? It's an NFC showdown with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. A trilogy between the Eagles and Commanders. Philadelphia won the first meeting by 8, and then Washington won by 3. Two talented offenses with impressive skill players. The thing that sets them apart, though, is defense. Eagles allowed the fewest yards per game and had the second best scoring unit. Meanwhile, the Commanders were towards the bottom of the league in both categories. So the spread here is -6.5 in favor of the Eagles, and I'm putting $10 on that. It's definitely going to be an interesting battle. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but the Eagles at home with that dynamic rushing attack and the really impressive defense with the brilliant mind of Vic Fangio, I think it's going to be a little bit too much for Dan Quinn to handle. So the Eagles moving back to the Super Bowl, as painful as it is to say as a Giants fan. But now, another rivalry, if you will. It's become a tale as old as time. The Chiefs and Bills in the playoffs. These teams are set to battle for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Just last season, they met in the divisional round and produced a thriller. Of course, they matched up earlier this year, which ended in a 9-point Buffalo win. Regardless, this is the playoffs, and the game's at Arrowhead Stadium. Even though the Chiefs looked fraudulent for much of the season, they always turn it up a notch come January. Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown an interception since that fateful November day in Orchard Park. Plus, Taylor Swift's boyfriend has really started to heat up. So, well, I definitely think this one is going to be close. Putting $10 on Andy Reid's squad to cover the 1.5-point spread. So another nail biter we're in for. Let's see if our producers, our C-suite I should say, Adam Hipsky and Griffin Bloomstein, agree with me. A phenomenal picture to show for it, representing me. And it seems like we're almost on the same page. They're rocking with the Chiefs, and I'm rocking with the Bills to cover. So hopefully the one on the left, that handsome-looking gentleman, comes out on top in this one. All right, let's get back to Kansas City and Buffalo. Josh Allen has been a legit MVP candidate for much of the season. Now, a lot of that has to do with the quarterback's dual threat ability, but you can't forget about the main reason he was drafted in the first place, his arm. Allen was top 10 in the AFC this year in both passing yards and completions. If you ask Vegas, though, it kind of sounds like they're doubting the 3-time Pro Bowler. Allen didn't throw a single touchdown last game and has thrown over 200 yards just once in his last 4 outings. So, seeing that the over-under was 20.5 completions was very intriguing. I mean, Allen had 27 of them against KC earlier this year. In my opinion, this game is going to be a shootout, and Buffalo needs Josh to sling it around. That's why I'm putting $10 on the over. For my second best bet, I wanted to get super creative. When you think about the Triple Crown, I'm sure your mind understandably goes to baseball, but now we're talking football. It has to do with the guys who have the most at their specific position yardage-wise. So it's passing, receiving, and rushing. Jaden Daniels, I have him with the most passing yards out of all quarterbacks this weekend. He has the most passing yards in the playoffs so far. Travis Kelce with the most receiving yards had 7 for 117 and a touchdown against Houston. And, you know, he's playoff Travis Kelce. He's built different. Saquon Barkley, he ran all over Washington twice this year. He's going to do it again. So when you add Daniels, Kelce, and Barkley, people are doubting it. Vegas is doubting it. Plus 4,100 odds. That's why I'm a little less confident, only putting $5 on it. But if that hits, that could be a pretty big deal. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I mean, 3 of the best players at their position in the playoffs. We talked about Saquon Barkley. We're going to talk about him again. Let's talk about his rushing attempts. He averaged 21.5 during the regular season. He has over 27, though, in the last 4 games. Washington, he ran all over them. 29 attempts, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns in their last meeting. And Washington had the 3rd worst run defense in the league this season. You know, the over-under is 24.5. He's going to smash that. This Eagles team runs through him. He's going to run all over Dan Quinn. It's going to look just like the second half of that Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl those years back. $20. That's how confident I am in Saquon Barkley. I've got a great Giants jersey with his name on the back to prove it at my house. Minus 128 odds and $20 on it. Saquon Barkley back in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Good things happen when he plays there. Speaking, though, of Philadelphia running backs, Jalen Hurts has been removed from the injury report. But no, all kidding aside, he is the best quarterback in the NFL to transfer from an SEC school to Oklahoma. So that says a lot. But, you know, he gets a lot of flack for the tush push and everything. He's only thrown more than 179 yards once in the last 6 games. The spread for him is just around that 179.5 area. And it's the under. This team is going to rely on Saquon Barkley. The Commanders have an aggressive pass defense, guys that can get after the quarterback. Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu roaming the middle. So with Jalen Hurts, he's not going to throw the ball that much. He's just not a dangerous passer. That's why I have $10, minus 114 odds. I just don't really see it happening. But what I do see happening is Terry McLaurin going off. It's so exciting, and I'm so happy for him, and I'm sure our good friend Adam Guykin feels the same. He finally has a competent quarterback. I mean, the last time he had a competent quarterback, I don't even know. I mean, Cardell Jones was incompetent, so you can't count that. Terry McLaurin with a competent quarterback is just a different player. 3 straight games with a touchdown. He has a touchdown in 7 of the last 8 games. Anytime touchdown today for Terry McLaurin. I don't care if it's Quinyon Mitchell. I don't care if it's Cooper DeJean on him. Terry McLaurin will wreak havoc on your defense. $10 plus 130 odds. Terry McLaurin is going to find his way into the end zone there in the city of brotherly love. So as we now look towards the future, we're moving off the gridiron to the hardwood. And we're talking about Johni Broome of Auburn, the greatest player to come out of Morehead State since Kenneth Faried. 17, almost 18 points a game, almost 11 rebounds per game, almost 3 blocks per game. I mean, he leads the team in almost every single category but steals per game. He's top 5 in the country in blocks. Right now he's plus 500 odds because Cooper Flagg, that kid from Duke, is getting all the hype. But Johni Broome is the best player on the best team in the country. Now, Cooper Flagg, I think the media bias it's going to kind of be like Travis Hunter in the Heisman, right? He didn't actually deserve it. That belonged to Ashton Genty, but all the media hype around him got him. And that's going to happen to Cooper Flagg. So if he does win it, it's not because he's better than Johni Broome, it's because of the media. And that's why Johni Broome, I have $10 for plus 500 odds for him to win the Wooden Award. That's the award given to the best player in college basketball. So that's my futures. Let's look on how futures went in the fall. Jake Morrell made 2 bad Bears beats. No surprise, I said it the last time I was on the show that those were not going to cash out. Those lost $10. And Austin, during the last show of the fall semester, picked Oregon to make the semifinals of the college football playoffs. Austin, not a real football guy. He knows his knowledge is best served on the hardwood, unlike me. That's why I won $30 on a future when I bet Boise State and my guy Ashton Genty to get to the college football playoffs, but a total profit of minus $28. I could only do so much, right? $30, I helped out. Chloe Smarts there at the bottom with minus 15 to think Indiana was going to go undefeated. That wasn't a smart take. And Carson Fowler, the college basketball expert, had Gonzaga to win it all in Atlanta. So that lost $10. So again, I'm trying my best here, guys. Let's see if I can help add on to the profits with my parlay. Now, we talked about the futures from last semester. Now time to dive back in to championship weekend with a parlay. I did pretty well on my parlay last semester, as we talked about earlier in the show. Let's start out in Washington. Dyami Brown, who's really emerged as a great weapon for Jane Daniels and the Commanders. Slow start to his career, heard all the words that Amon-Ra St. Brown said, and decided to step up. A lot of attention going to Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz, so that's why I have Dyami Brown with a 20-plus yard reception. That's minus 110. He's had over 80 yards in each of the last 2 games. And I think he's going to break out again against the Eagles. Now over to Kansas City with Kareem Hunt, who, man, used to be really good when he first came in the league. Certainly knows how to pack a punch, or a kick, if you will. Goal line situation for the Chiefs. He can drive it in to the end zone, a touchdown in each of his last 3 games. And I feel pretty good about Kareem Hunt. That's a plus 145 odds. And we're going to stay in Kansas City. I was wrestling this one, want to give Nolan Smith some attention, but I feel like Tershawn Wharton deserves it a little bit more. The pride of Missouri S&T has 5 sacks in the last 6 games, had 1 last time out against Houston. You have George Karlaftis, he had 3 against the Texans. Chris Jones is on that defensive line as well. There's only so many guys to stop that Chiefs pass rush, led by the brilliant mind of Steve Spagnuolo. So Tershawn Wharton gets another sack to his total. That is plus 300 odds. So when you put it all together, $15 to win 265. That has a really good chance to pay out. So now it's time to recap my picks from today. All right, we got all my picks there. Chiefs and Bills. I have the Bills keeping it close. They may lose, but they're going to cover the 1.5 point spread, $10 on that. Eagles, on the other hand, minus 6.5 spread. I'm sorry, Adam. You know, we're no longer partners at the desk here for On the Bench, and that's why I'm picking against you. As painful as it is, $10 for the Eagles to cover that minus 6.5 spread. Josh Allen, the king of Buffalo, $10 to get that over 20.5 completions. The Triple Crown, $5 for Jane Daniels, Saquon Barkley, and Travis Kelce to all have the most yards at their position. Again, that's a plus 4,100 odds. If that hits, that could be pretty sick. And then Saquon Barkley, Saquads as they call him, the rushing attempts at 24.5, they're going to rely on him to run all over that Commanders defense. Nothing that a now somewhat unwashed Bobby Wagner can do. $20 on that one. Jalen Hurts, under 179.5 passing yards. You don't need to throw a whole lot when you got Saquon Barkley. $10, he's going to get under. Terry McLaurin, though, on the other side, $10 anytime touchdown. He's getting into that conversation, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He's going to find the end zone. Him and Jane Daniels going to be slinging it around, trailing from behind. They're going to have to pass the football. Then in college basketball, Janai Broome with the Wooden Award, $10 to outduel and beat the media there on Cooper Flag. And then my parlay, $15. De'Ami Brown, 20-plus yard reception. Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown. And Tershawn Wharton to get a sack. That's a plus 1771 odds to win $265. I'm feeling pretty good. I really feel confident that those picks could turn out positively, just like the last time when I won $125 on this show. But that's enough for me here on Beat the Bookie. Thanks so much for tuning in. Skyler Wilkes saying so long and enjoy the games this weekend.